AK, it has been a year.
Literally, I think it's been at least a year since we've done this.
Welcome back to Wine Wednesday.
Thank you. I
Um,
have not much has changed in a year. I've got my big ice cube in my wine. Sorry
I,
for my.
I love it. I'm doing Pinot Noir.
Okay.
Let let's dive in because there's been so much that's changed with both of us, and we're gonna try and keep these to 30 minutes, and like we're gonna go down rabbit holes. So, where do you live now, and what company do you work for?
Oh my goodness. Well, I live in Dallas now. I think I had just moved to Dallas, maybe one of the last times we did this, but I'm in a new house now downtown, which I absolutely love. I made the big switch back, I guess 6, 7 months ago over to Rippling. So I'm now the VP of Global Sales Development there, and it has been a absolute wild ride since starting.
It's been 6 months.
Yes, isn't that like again, time just like they say, time flies
Oh
when
my
you're
God,
having
I would
fun.
have guessed 2 months. That's how bad I am.
No, it's crazy. We've done a ton of hiring. I've done a reorg. We've built out outbound. We are going international, new products. I mean, like truly, we've been blessed as a really, really strong startup, considering all of the news that's been going on. I'm sure you see every time you log into LinkedIn.
Yep.
We're doing the opposite, which I'm like forever, forever grateful for joining the company.
I love it. So we're going to dive into a couple of things. Let's unpack what you just said. Huge growth
Well,
plan.
can we talk about the fact that your background talks about your Clifton strengths and mine talks about being a Savvy Bee, NASCAR, and everything SDR fan? I thought this was Wine Wednesday. I thought we kept this
I
like, not so
hold
serious.
on. If I'm reading our two profiles, you're the person I want to know and not me. So I don't want to throw shade at the Clifton strengths, but for this mood, I think I'm going to update and go your route because your route seems a lot more entertaining, especially for Wine Wednesday.
It's pretty honest, but yeah, what do you want to dive into?
Well, so let's talk about a couple of things because coincidentally, I met with Amir at CloudTask like a couple months ago, and I just shouted out Plank, Sam, and you, where I got asked a couple uncomfortable questions, and I tried to like be PC, and that's really not me, but I tried my best to be PC, and I answered them saying, "This is a long time ago, by the way, like 6 months, I think." I said, "There's going to be a real rude awakening for tech." I said, "Tech is so soft, so like teddy bears and hugs, and that's the culture they build. But then when the economy turns and you've babied all these people and you always tell them yes inside, how are you going to ask them to be tough outside and grind it out?" And I don't know. The universe works in weird ways. I kind of felt weirded out that it was posted yesterday, right before we were meeting.
Who posted it yesterday?
A CloudTask.
Oh, they did? Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're spot on. I think we're seeing, companies that have inflated, have kind of done what most tech companies think they should be doing in the moment. Sadly, it's impacting a lot of people. I think Corpro said it the other day, like companies don't owe you anything. And that's like the brutal honesty and reality to it. But it's what I think of like, going back to our conversations last year and all these different Wine Wednesdays was, what are the things that you can control as an employee, as a manager, as someone either looking to get into tech or change, and grow in their career within tech? Like, what are those like tactical things? And then how do you support people in getting there? How do you build like a network around that? Because there is a lot of stuff that people can do today, even in this environment, to still come out on top, regardless of like the position that companies have, put them into that was outside of what they anticipated.
I'm so glad you said that. So I want to actually piggyback on that. And well, I always say, millionaires are made in bear markets, and that's for investing. But I want to talk about the same for sales dev. I actually think this is the kind of market where the hardest working, the grittiest actually do rise to the top. When everything's going great, you can kind of all skate by, and it's a little frustrating for the hardest workers, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I read something the other day where a lot of people were actually frustrated by it, but I agree with what you're saying is that quota is not enough to have your job anymore. And it's not. I mean, we're seeing people that we're hitting quota being laid off at these companies. And so I always think of like, what are the things that I can control? And I think like there's the first things that come to mind is like internally, what can you do at the company, making sure that you've got like a super solid brand, that you're, bringing value to the people around you, not just quota. Well, yeah, you might have been hired to hit that number. Like you're also hired to develop the people around you, push the boundaries, give product feedback. Like even if you're in sales, like you can impact that in different ways. So we could talk about that forever, but then the other side of it is like externally, what are you doing to up level your skills and build the network? Because God forbid it does happen. Like you don't want to be the person that's having to apply on a job site to get a role in tech, because it's so tightly connected to your network. Like making sure that you're prepping for that kind of stuff now, so that if it does, happen, you have a handful of doors that you can go knock on.
And I want to talk about everything here. I agree with everything you just said, and I want to double down. Rippling has huge growth plans. Now, we're not just talking about numbers. We're talking about product offering and all of that. Now, I don't want to put you on the spot. It's not my job to test. I know you know your stuff, but what are you most excited for the huge growth plans? Because we could talk an hour about just Rippling, but is it the people? Is it the change to international? You tell me. I don't want to answer for you.
Well, it would definitely depend on who you ask. For me, I'm going to answer in a very selfish, honest way. It's the people. I love sales development. I've been doing this now for 10 years. I will never forget when I was at Zenefits, which obviously is one of the reasons I came to Rippling, is like full circle, getting to work with like what feels like home again. I'll never forget, Mandy was my VP of SDR. And I just remember thinking, holy shit, there could be a VP of SDR. Like I had no idea. And so for me, that has always been like the goal for me. And while I, earned and got that at Brex, the level that I have now at Rippling, when I have this army of SDRs, is just the coolest feeling that I've always wanted. And so to like put that into perspective for anyone that's wondering what an army of SDRs is, it's like almost 200 of them that are international. So I've got about 100 that are inbound. I've got, we've just hired almost 40 in the last 2 to 3 months that'll be helping build out the outbound side of things. In addition to, we've promoted people into management, promoting people into AE. So there's backfills that fit into all those numbers as well. But at the end of the day, that I think is what excites me the most. I have said since day one how bullish I am on sales development, and there is no company that is more aligned with my bullishness than Rippling. And that's, a testament to Parker in the way that he sets the tone from top down, and everyone, it's kind of been a natural culture of accountability that's been built into it too.
I like that you just said that. That's actually what I was talking about. I was basically talking about culture of accountability. And, it's not that you don't sell people to work. I know a lot of people that work as benefits all the way up, but you don't sell people to work on the benefits, like, oh, unlimited vacation, stuff like that. You sell them like, hey, if you want to make money, this is the place to be, but you're going to have to work hard for it. And that's what I was alluding to. And it's just so weird because I forgot that interview from like 6 months ago and I just watched it yesterday. But so diving deeper, I'm a little jealous. It took me 5 years to get to 100 SDRs, and not that you didn't earn it, but you just doubled that in one signature on a DocuSign, it sounds like. And I'm mad, so that's okay. So
yeah, it was that easy. It was that simple for sure. It was just
now I'm mad at you.
Skill delivered.
You tripped and fell on 200. I'm just kidding. But no, so it sounds like you're a people person, and that's why you love the sales dev. And you and I have been broken records. Let's talk about us for a second. So we have been insanely busy, and that's not a brag. It's the truth. And we've built. I unfortunately don't have an army. I only have one leg of an army. You have an army. But let's talk about 2023, because I think it's actually really exciting that I've reached kind of a catalyst of 100 SDRs, and I keep 20 to 30 clients. You now have, as far as I know, one of the largest and fastest growing SDR teams, and we're on one show, and we have side projects working on in 2023. So I just want to ask you, aside from Rippling, which is obviously your number one focus, what's AK excited about in 2023? And it can be anything.
It falls into the same category of passion of building teams and supporting SDR. Like that's what I like. I'm the dork that likes that. I can talk hours about it, obviously. But I think I commented on a post a couple days ago. A former colleague from Lever posted like, what I've loved is so many people in the communities are stepping up and they're like, there's open roles over here. There's open roles over here. Like, let's help people, find a home again. I think where I feel like super passionate about, because I've done this for so long at so many different companies, I've made mistakes myself looking for different jobs, is like really coaching and teaching people how to avoid those mistakes. So like first and foremost is when you're looking for a new opportunity, is it because you're just wanting a job, which is it's just super fair in this environment, right?
Of course.
But like 3-4 months from now, you might wake up and you might be like, oh my gosh, I rushed that decision and this sucks. And you're coming off of having been somewhere for 4 months as an SDR before that. And now, you got hit by this riff. Now you're hit by like unhappiness, and now new companies are hiring. And all of a sudden your resume looks like you've been hopping around every 4 months. And that just hurts your brand when there's so many people that are out there. So I think like taking a step back and being really strategic about the types of companies that you're applying for, where you're networking, and the things that you actually care about is important. And some of those things that I care about, which I, try and.
This is eerie, by the way. I'll tell you why after.
Okay. But like some of the things I care about are like, the size of like funding of company. A Series A compared to a Series C is going to be drastically different. Who's the leadership? What's the product market fit? Who are you selling to? Who's the persona? I can tell you, selling to a HR person compared to CFO, while yes, we sell to both, are different. Like you have to adapt your personalities and just whatever selling tactics, but like that looks really different than if you go sell to sales and marketing. And so like know what you're getting yourself into, I guess, is what I've always told people. And anytime there's like younger generation that's looking to get into tech, I'm like, give me a call, chat for 15 minutes and like, tell me about the companies that you're looking at. Like, I might not be an expert, but I can at least give you, my decade of experience, like what my sniff test would be if like, yeah, you should do this or you shouldn't.
Yeah. And so the eerie part that I was going to comment on, I said, sadly, and I don't mean to sound like such a jerk, the most exciting part about this down economy in tech, tech kind of skated through COVID. Stocks soared, and that's not happening anymore. And every day is a little different, but I again, I don't want to sound evil, but I'm saying I was kind of excited that the people that put in the work are actually going to start getting rewarded. So I don't mean that the downside of that is the people that weren't are going to get punished. So I just said, like, the tech culture in the last 5 years, I know people, and I'm sure you do, that could just hop job to job every 6 to 12 months and tell the right story. And that's not going to work anymore. That is not going to fly.
I'll save too much of my opinions, but I agree. I used to talk shit about enterprise AEs for so long that it was like, by the time you get this massive salary, you get 3 months to ramp, 6 months to close a deal, 9 months, a year could go before you're even bringing revenue in. And so they could kind of bullshit for a couple of months. And the company, obviously, whatever, but like it's at certain roles and companies, you can do that.
Let's get back to whining. I love this. This is where you could be a complete fraud and you could buy 9 months, and then you could tell some bogus story about some evil manager that probably isn't true, or maybe is, who knows, but someone else absorbs it and listens just because they need someone so desperately. And the cycle continues. And I legit think that became a subset of persona. That became someone's resume.
Absolutely. Get a couple good logos under your belt and you're jumping around. Which is why I think, again, back to the environment that we're in, don't have that jumpy resume. Like, our parents told us that forever ago. We didn't believe them in tech because we're like, no, everyone, it's fine because you're moving on to the next best thing. That's not the case anymore. Like you do like brand, your brand, your reputation, all that is just as important. And I will say that bridges outside of sales. I mean, I've worked with marketing leaders, same thing. They just popped into a couple of different logos and now they're hired everywhere, but you don't actually see the results of what's happening. Luckily, I knew what I was getting myself into at Rippling, which was one of the other reasons I came here, was the marketing team. So,
no, 100%. You guys are a machine. So let's talk too a little bit selfishly. So we align a lot, we'll say philosophically, on the sales dev space, but we also have very different career paths, although I would say equally successful, just different. What excites you the most, I guess, about the economy state? And I sounded kind of evil. I hate to admit it. I didn't like how many freeloaders were getting by. I'm not going to lie, because I work for some very good founders that don't have any funding. And I know that one bad salesperson can all but tank like a company at the size I work. So I have like that's why I have this like pent up aggression toward them, because I know good people can lie their way into a good founder and that they've never hired a salesperson before. And the lights go off. So that's my selfish, evil whine. And we're always attacking AEs because it's natural. We work with them and they cost us quota. But I want yours. I want to know, just again, like what 2023, it's a bear, we'll call it, in tech. Does that excite you, concern you? Just give me something just tied straight to the bear.
I tend to stay so focused in my own world, which I think is what makes me successful. But that's what I'm excited about, is like,
Fair.
we have that opportunity. I'm building internationally right now, launching new products, launching new verticals, launching like all, and when I say launching, I mean like I'm getting the opportunity to have a team that sells them, right?
Yep.
And so that doesn't happen in these types of markets that often. So for me, I am bullish in the fact that like I will do everything in my power to make sure that that stuff doesn't slip. I don't want to be on your shit list of someone that is, not holding up their end of the bargain. And so I think like that's what wakes me up every day. That's what holds me accountable. But that's what I'm most excited about. And so like to build and own a function the way that I do, and then transpire that through my people and have everyone have that same level of accountability. And we're seeing it in the numbers. We're seeing it in just overall performance with the team is really cool. But I don't take that for granted. Like it's not a one-man shop that I've just been leading. Like my leaders are phenomenal. My cross-functional partners, phenomenal. And so like when to your point, like, yeah, we talk shit on AEs all the time, but like there's other team member, like other parts of the org that help, which is like RevOps and marketing and enablement.
Yeah.
Don't hold those teams to the same level of accountability, you're never going to be the machine that you need to be. And so like it spans so much more than just with an SDR AE. And
this is not brown nosing. I know some Rippling AEs and they are hardworking. So that this is really not a slight toward Rippling at all. I'm talking way more junior and like a totally different profile. So Warmly, you see our pretty signatures in all of this. I love that Rippling works with them. I just want to plug us because this is something that I'm going to have to fry minutes from AK. It's going to take me 10 minutes to get 1 minute out of her, but it's worth it. We're partnering with Warmly, great company, great leader in Max. Sam's going to be our marketing, I would call her community head or head of marketing. She'll do actually wear multiple hats, but AK and I realized the problem. This is like almost a pat on the back while I kind of make fun of us. We're really good at sales dev. We got SDR ready from 0 to 4,000 SDRs. We drive leads. We drive traffic. The problem is we had no one else, no other support, no CSs, no AEs. So we just built this community that had a bunch of leads and no one calling on them. And it was so funny when Max called it out because it was like, oh shit, I didn't even think of it like that. So the reason I bring that up, we're excited to relaunch SDR Ready. The problem was AK and I were too busy to do what we wanted to do, so we left a lot of people hanging. But it's coming back. And the reason I say all that is you will still see AK's face. You will still see mine, but operationally, you'll see some people delivering. And the reason is, and again, I don't want to speak for AK. I'll ask her this question in a second. My goal is actually to build, I'm a little arrogant again, what I believe is the first ever masterclass for sales dev. So AK and I are both looking for partners. We're going to post this under our posts. It's going to take a long time to build. It won't be overnight. She is very distracted in a good way with Rippling. But sliding some of the boot camps, I think they were ran by entrepreneurs and professionals, not by sales dev experts. So we're going to try and turn SDR Ready into a free side, completely free, which will always stay. And then we're also going to have a paid side that is a sales dev masterclass. So putting you on the spot, AK, when would I get enough time out of you to borrow 2 hours, 1 week a quarter? 2 hours,
1 week a quarter.
1 week a quarter. Just for you to take on one piece of 0 to 1 sales dev.
Yes. I mean, I will try and help as much as I can. I'm like I said, super bullish on SDR. I could not be prouder of SDR Ready in the last couple of years, what it's built. And again, so organically, developed by just the community of people that want to be in tech sales, that want to learn, that want, more access to jobs and feedback and coaching and everything. And so it's super important to me as I continue to build my career and, as I continue to hire people and promote them, like I'm only as good as the people around me. And so I want to be a part of a network that is just as strong as that. And so, yes, I will be around as much as I can. And I know that Warmly is already, cleaned up a bunch of our chaos, which was in the Slack community. And I know there's a bunch of up and coming sales dev leaders that really want to be a part of it too. I mean, people I've mentored in the past that I've worked with, and I'm sure there's people like that I hope are watching this right now that are like, I've always wanted to do consulting, or I've always wanted to have a mentee that I can help, or, I'm trying to hire for my team. And it is really chaotic and be kind of overwhelming to identify where those things are. And so I'm glad that we're tightening it up, creating a place for that, reintroducing it to the world with Warmly's like very warm welcome support.
I love it. And you just did like a super solid elevator pitch. That's probably going to be one of our focuses. So one, it won't be all running through AK and I. That didn't work. I mean, I guess it did to get 4,000 people in, but it didn't work from fulfillment. So you'll see more people in there. And AK touched on some of the value props. We are going to have mentee and mentors completely included, nothing charged, obviously scratching backs so that they'll help. We're also going to build, what I want to do is like build like a B2B layer too. It's going to take more time, but I think AK, and again, I'm just talking highly of us. Once we put together this masterclass, I want to see two sides of a coin. One, I do think some SDRs are set up to fail. And I also think some SDRs aren't hard workers. There's both. So what I want to do is also offer some sort of B2B solution where we reach out to SDR managers that are potentially considering getting rid of some SDRs, and we offer them some low-cost boot camp masterclass to try and save their job, to see if maybe they just didn't have the right tools, or if they go through our class and they're not, we all don't, 10 different leaders say, hey, might not be just a good fit for sales dev long-term. That's going to be one of the things we're working on. So I think we're going to have like a 0 to 1. I want to break in to a sales dev masterclass. I think we're going to have a I'm struggling as a currently employed SDR masterclass. And I think we're going to also have the I'm a really good SDR and I want to either move to AE or SDR manager. And you would actually go through one course, and hopefully that course will help you decide which one's best for you. So
I will sign up for that course. I'm a little biased. I love when people decide that they want to be SDR managers and not AEs, as much as I love my counterparts as AEs, but I think that there's something really special about this function. So that's where my passion lies, is definitely working with managers and developing, teams to have second and third layers of leadership.
Cool. And then the only thing we ask is comment under this video if you made it this far on what you'd like to see in there. Sam is an amazing community manager. So we're literally cleaning it up right now. We're re-inviting people via email. We're getting rid of stagnant accounts. We're going all in on SDReady. AK, if you see AK, think of her as the VP of Global Sales Dev at Rippling. If you see Gino, think of Gino as the I've never heard of 1099 person doing weird stuff behind the scenes. And then when you think of SDReady, think of both of us giving really good people guidance to execute. But like, if you added us and wrote us in there, we might not get back to you for a week. Like, I just want to be honest that we're going to help build it, but we're going to find operationally people in there to hold the community up, because clearly going from 0 to 4,000 in a year means there's something there. And I think AK touched on it best, so I'll hand her back the mic. Talk to the people that are maybe outside of sales wanting to get into sales dev. You know how you went from NASCAR. Do you call it roadside? Is that a stupid term? Trackside?
It was Speed TV. Thank you.
Speed TV. I'm sorry.
Fox One. So
Fox One. Got it.
500 was last weekend. We were back full circle.
Okay.
Literally.
I love it. But no, talk to like someone like why they should go in the community and what they should ask for and find. Just so like, I want people to realize that this is actually a community for someone that doesn't know if they want to be an SDR or not. So I want to hand you the mic on like, just talk to like SDRs and like their struggles and what SDReady can fulfill for them. I'm going to make sure to build it with Sam.
Yeah, I would say the most glaring thing just over the years of having hired, I think 600 SDRs now, is a lot of times people don't know what the SDR role actually entails. And just like I talked about, there being different rounds of funding at different companies and what that means for like what your experience is going to be like from onboarding and execution and tools and all the things. It's the same thing when you just don't know what you don't know when you're getting into the role. And a lot of companies call it an SDR, a BDR. So how much of that is inbound? How much of it is outbound? What does a real day look like? It's not glamorous. Like you are cold calling, you're hung up on quite a bit. I started in the role myself. I could not be more thankful for it. But like have those real life conversations with people, especially if you're interested in a specific company. You can find them in our community. You can find them on LinkedIn, like hit someone up. I promise you, you will be shocked how much people are willing to help. Like as busy as I am, like I hop on calls with people that are SDRs for 15 minutes that I've never met in person and I probably never will. But like, I truly think that's what makes our community so special, is that like, we are willing to do that. And so one, like, don't be afraid. There's different channels in there. There's, you know, job boards, there is interview channels, there's mentor channels. And then if you are an SDR already and you find yourself at a company that doesn't really have the level of support from management or enablement that, you know, a well-funded one might have, there's channels in there with like, hey, if I send this email objection in or this pitch, like, can you help me overcome this? And so, you know, while we might not be product experts, you know, sales is sales. You can pivot around anything if you try hard enough. And so think of it as just an open door to a community that is more than welcome to have you. And I hope you learned something from it. And if not, give us feedback of what you want to see.
I love it. Yeah. And I would say someone could say we're not product experts, but we're energy experts and we do what others won't experts. And also like we listen, like that's a hard AEs, again, not to demonize them, but sometimes they're really good. They have a really good demo down in routine, where SDRs don't get that. You have to like earn someone's time in like 10 seconds. It's like a totally different skill set. So we're going to help with all of that. So yeah, I just wanted to thank everyone. We're excited to be back. AK, am I getting you once every 2 weeks for 30 minutes? Are you giving me that twice a month?
I'm giving you that, but I think we should ask the crowd, the polling thing or whatever, if they want 30 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever, if it's like hyper focused on one topic or what, because I think both of us are notorious. We could talk this forever. So I want to make sure that, you know, people are joining in, getting what they want out of it. But I think maybe we do a little bit of both.
I love it. Okay, perfect. We'll get this out. I appreciate you a lot. Really excited for Rippling. Proud of you. And I think Plank got the CRO title now too. Look at your VP CRO. I don't belong on these calls anymore.
I know. Yeah. No,
I'm
really
sticking you guys with bills. Next time you're in Miami, y'all are picking up the tab.
Perfect. No, but perfect. I can't wait to go to Miami.
I appreciate you.
Wine, but cheers. Back to Wine Wednesday, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Same. Great seeing you.
Bye.
Bye.